Friends, we are very happy to inform you that e-modules are prepared for B.Ed program at Telangana by the School of Education, Osmania University under Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme MHRD New Delhi. It's indeed our pleasure to share with the teacher educators and the prospective teachers and get maximum benefit out of it. It's a first of its attempt by us. We continue to add many more such lessons to share with you all.
Hello dear learner and welcome to the class on educational values. This is unit 5.4 and today we will be covering the scope of values, kinds of values, that is subjective versus objective, and hierarchy of values. We will also cover how values can be inculcated in the children through education, because that is what we teachers are concerned about. To begin with, let us understand the meaning of the term value. Dear learner, you know that value is a very commonly used term and we use the term value in our day-to-day lives. Value in simple words means to give importance to. Now what we need to be bothered about or concerned about is what should we give importance to in our lives, because there is always a question mark in our minds. Right from the early stages, the child is exposed to conflicting values. You find that the child will hear something, he's preached something, and something else is followed by the people around it. So always there is a question mark in the minds of the children. See, for example, parents tell the children to speak the truth all the time, but many times the child sees that the parents themselves tell lies. So always there is a question mark in the mind of the child. What is right and what is wrong, and what should he give importance to in his life? So let us first try to see a few definitions of the term value and understand what its meaning is. The first definition given by the famous philosopher John Dewey. He says, value means primarily to prize, to esteem, to appraise and to estimate. It means the act of achieving something, holding it, and also the act of passing judgment upon the nature and amount of values as compared with something else. So here, when we see the definition of value by John Dewey, he says value means basically to give importance to something, to prize something, to estimate something, hold it dear. And one more thing which he says is, value is always in comparison with something else. See, for example, now if I show you this watch and this chain and ask you which object has more value, so obviously you will say the chain, because the chain is made of gold and you feel that it is more valuable than the watch. So you find that always when we talk about values, it is in relationship with other things. So also if you take the example of relationship, you find we have relationship with so many people in our lives, relationship with our friends, with our parents. Now you value both the relationships, but if I ask you which relationship is more valuable to you, you will definitely say that the relationship with my parents is more valuable than the relationship with my friends. So Dewey says always when we talk about value, it is in comparison with something else. Let us see another definition. According to Kane, values are the ideals, beliefs or norms which a society or a large majority of a society's members hold. So here Kane talks about the society, you find in each society the value system is different and the values which people hold are different. It differs from society to society. See, what we value here in India may be different from what people value in the United States of America. So, values always depend upon the society that we live in. Now, see, as teachers, we are interested in educational values. We know that value means to give importance to, what we should give importance to in our lives. Now, as far as education is concerned, you find values are very, very important, because now the responsibility of inculcating values in the children is on the teachers, and it is through proper education, the environment, the background, the atmosphere in the school that we must inculcate values in the children. So, it is very important that we teachers understand what educational values are and how they can be inculcated in the children. So, educational values, all those activities that are good, useful and valuable from educational point of view are considered as educational values. Now, to understand the meaning of educational values better, let us see the nature of value education. See, how are these values inculcated in the children and what can we do as teachers to inculcate these values in the children? We need to understand that. Now, when we talk about the nature of value education, Hoover makes the following assumptions about values. See, Hoover says that values are acquired subconsciously in many ways. While some are the products of reflection, many are acquired from various social groups. See, what the children see around them, they subconsciously acquire the same things. For example, you find if a child is born in a family that consists of very punctual people, the parents give lot of importance to being on time. See, for example, now breakfast is at 9 a.m., lunch is at 1 p.m. and dinner is at 8 p.m. and the child is trained right from the beginning to stick to that time, and the child has to be on the dining table at that time. So, if the parents are very punctual, the same quality will be inculcated in the child. Subconsciously, the child learns to be punctual. So, you find sometimes values are acquired subconsciously and many times they are a product of reflection. Supposing you, as a teacher, you tell the children, as soon as you come to the class, you must greet your friends or greet your teacher. Then the child will see what the other children are doing. If they are doing the same thing, then child also learns to do it. He reflects, okay, if I greet somebody, am I being appreciated? You know, is it a good thing? He reflects on what the teacher is saying and then he adopts that value. So, reflecting, adopting, all these things, or from other social groups also, the child learns to value things. He moves around with his peers, with community people, with his relatives, with his family. So, what are the things which these people are giving importance to in their day-to-day lives, in their behavior? The child is very observant, he will see these things and he also learns those values. So, mostly the values are inculcated subconsciously by the children, and values possess both cognitive and affective dimensions. See, both the head as well as heart are involved in imparting values or inculcating values in the children, and values can be structured and restructured through process of reflecting, thinking, expressing of beliefs, etc. See, values are not permanent, they keep changing in the lives of children or adults. You find that, see, for example, I will give you an example. See, I work in a college of education and there we had a student who was very, very good at teaching. See, we have 40 days of practice teaching in schools, and there I found that the student teacher was perfect, and she used to prepare very good teaching aids and teach in a very, very effective manner. After completion of the B.Ed course, this girl was absorbed by the same school in which she did her practice teaching. And there next year when I went, I found that the teaching of that girl had deteriorated a lot, and she was not able to teach properly. There was absolutely no discipline in her class. She had no teaching aids. Her teaching method was not correct. Then after the class, I called her. See, you had so much of value for good teaching last year. What happened this year? Why is it that you are not able to teach well this year? So then she said that after I joined the school as a regular teacher, I looked around and saw that nobody was preparing teaching aids, nobody was writing a lesson plan or going prepared to the class. So I saw what was happening around me, and I also have become like that. So no value to good teaching, and see how she changed in 1 year. So what we value today, tomorrow we may not value the same thing, depending upon our experiences, depending upon what we are exposed to, all these things keep on changing. That is what, when we talk about values, we should understand that values can be structured and restructured through the processes of reflective thinking, expression, beliefs, experience, etc. Then let us see the scope of values. According to Brubaker, to state one's aim of education is at once to state his educational values. Education develops a sense of discrimination between right and wrong. So you find, what is the scope of values? It is nothing but, when you talk about educational values, if you ask a teacher, what should you value in education? It is nothing but the aims of education. Whatever education aims at, you find that is what teachers need to place value on. That is what Brubaker says, that the scope of value is nothing but the aims of education, what we need to give importance to through the field of education. Now, according to Adams, education is a bipolar process. Education consists of two poles. At one end we have the teacher, and the other end we have the child. So these are the two poles in the field of education, and in order to modify the behavior of the child, the teacher has to plan for different activities. If you want to bring about behavioral changes in the children, then the teacher has to work hard and plan for good educational activities, so that the desirable behavioral change can be brought about in the life of the child. So whatever value we want to inculcate in the child, you find that teacher plays a very, very important role. And when we talk about the scope of values in education, you find that teacher is very, very important, and she has to provide an environment to the child through which he can inculcate proper values. So because the values, more than teaching them, like if you tell the child to write 100 times, truth is good, I have to speak truth always, the child will not learn to speak truth. It is through observation of what is going on in the classroom that the child learns values in the class. See, for example, if the teacher will tell the child, children, you must always speak the truth. Now, do you think children will learn to speak the truth? See, they will observe. Now, the teacher, see, for example, I will tell you, when my son was small, he came and told me one day, Mummy, teacher told lies today. So I told him, no, teacher will not tell lies. So, no, she told lies, I heard it, he said. I said, how did you hear? So he said that when the principal came on rounds to the class, My teacher told her that her mother-in-law was very sick and she wanted half-day leave. So the principal said, okay, you can take half-day leave. Then in the interval, the fellow class teacher came to my class, and my teacher was telling her, I got half-day permission today and I am going for a movie with my friend. All the 30 children in the classroom were listening, seeing what was going on in the class. So what did these 30 children learn? So you find, how you behave, the environment that you create in the class is very important as far as inculcating values is concerned. So you find, when we talk about the scope of values, according to Adams, two poles are important, the child and the teacher. Now let us see the next important subtopic, types of values. When we talk about the types of values, you find there are two types of values, subjective values and objective values. Now subjective values, you find they are personal in nature, they depend upon our likes and dislikes and our experiences. The person's personal feelings are involved in subjective values, whereas objective values are based on evidence and there is no scope of contradiction or debate as far as objective values are concerned. Now let us take an example for you to understand what is the difference between subjective values and objective values. See, for example, now you are correcting an answer sheet of a student. Now the question is, write 30 lines about your favorite learning theory. So one student whose paper you are correcting has written 30 lines about Skinner, and Skinner happens to be your favorite psychologist. Now when you correct that paper, oh, Skinner, he is my favorite. Whatever the student has written, you will go through it and you have a very positive mind and you feel that okay, he has written about my favorite psychologist, and you tend, not intentionally, you tend to give that person more marks because your feelings, you like Skinner and the student has written about Skinner. So your feelings are interfering with your correction. That is being subjective. So you give him more marks unconsciously because you like Skinner and your feelings are interfering with the valuation. Now objective, being objective, see, for example, the question is, dash is the father of philosophy. Now the student has written, Socrates is the father of philosophy. The answer is only one. Whether you hate Socrates or like him, it does not matter, you have to give him the mark. So your personal feelings will not interfere with the value which you are placing on the answer. So you find subjective values, objective values. Subjective values are those in which your personal feelings tend to interfere, and objective feelings are based on evidence, and the scope of your feelings interfering with the objective values is very less. I hope you understood the difference between the two. See, the other classification of values, you can classify values according to Brubaker into two groups again, instrumental values and intrinsic values. Let us try to understand what these two mean. Instrumental values, they are subjective values and they are dependent on the principle of utility. They keep changing, they are never constant and keep changing from time to time. See, instrumental values, normally whatever we value in our lives, they are all based on instrumental values. So you find instrumental values, for example, personal value, social value, family value, cultural values, all these values we do have in our lives, but they keep changing from time to time. See, for example, See, when you were doing your graduation, the books of your graduation were of great value to you. You would treasure them, you would keep them safely in your cupboard, and every day you would refer to them, study them. But today, where are those books? Are they there with you, or have you sold them, or are they lying on top of some cupboard collecting dust? Whatever you are studying today, you place value on those books. What about your previous books which were so valuable to you 2, 3 or whenever you were doing your graduation years back? So, instrumental values, they are based on the principle of utility. They keep changing from person to person, from time to time. What I value, you may not value, and what you value, I may not value. So, instrumental values are personal values, and they keep changing from time to time. And intrinsic values are good in themselves, and they do not change from time to time. They are universal in nature and accepted by everybody in this world. See, for example, telling truth or being good. See, you find everyone will accept that, whether it is an Indian or an African or an Australian or an American. If you say, should we speak the truth? They will say, yes, we must speak the truth. So, these values are universally accepted, and they do not change with time. They are not based on principle of utility, they are fixed, and the school of idealism, the school of philosophy of idealism, idealists recommend intrinsic values, and the examples are truth, goodness, beauty, bliss, happiness. So, those are instrumental and intrinsic values. Now, if we see the hierarchy of educational values, Brubaker has divided values into two categories: related to intelligent likes or remote values, and related to likes or immediate values. See, if we see the hierarchy of values, you find that intelligent likes or remote values are placed at a higher level than those which are immediate values. Immediate values means which give immediate gratification. See, for example, now if I run for a mile, then I feel very thirsty. As soon as I drink water, you find I feel very satisfied and happy. I place a lot of value on water at that moment because it gives me a lot of satisfaction. So, gratification of immediate needs, those are the immediate values. Whereas, when we talk about the remote values, see, you find that if there is a function in the college or in a school, you find an annual day function is, or a cultural day program is being organized in a school. See, you find in the cultural program you have a variety of activities. You have dances, then cultural programs, activities, all those things will be there in the annual day function. Now, why are we organizing an annual day function? What values are we trying to teach the children? See, when we have a tableau showing different dresses of India, people how they dress up, or you have dances like Bhangra of Punjab, or all those Bharatnatyam, Kuchipudi, all those dances from different states of India. What are we trying to teach the children? See, in the broader context, through intelligence, the child learns that, okay, this dance belongs to this state. The child will learn unconsciously, the values are being inculcated in the children. So, these are the values which are related to our intelligence, and these are very broad or remote values, they are not immediate values. So, these values are placed at a higher level. Similarly, when we talk about intrinsic values and instrumental values, you find intrinsic values are definitely at a higher level when compared to the instrumental values. Now, the NCERT, National Council of Educational Research and Training, has made a list of values that we as teachers need to inculcate in the children? See, now you have understood about the meaning, nature, scope of values. Next we will go on to the most important thing, how can we as teachers inculcate values in the children, and what are those values, what should we stress on? Previously children used to live in a joint family, and there in the joint family they were exposed to many people, and those people, through those people, children used to learn and inculcate a lot of values. But today the joint families have broken down into nuclear families, and with both the parents working, you find the child hardly has any exposure to values. He hardly gets time to spend with the near and dear ones in the family. So you find the responsibility of inculcating values has shifted from family to school. What are those values which we need to inculcate in our children? See, you find humanism, kindness to animals, quest for knowledge, friendship, self-discipline, team spirit, punctuality, cooperation, cleanliness, dignity of manual work, reverence for old age, sincerity, loyalty to duty, justice, peace, discipline. These are some of the values, important values which NCERT wants teachers to inculcate in the children. Now, when we talk about inculcation of values, we can inculcate values in the children through curricular and co-curricular activities. In any school you find these two activities being organized. So, through both these activities we can inculcate values in the children. Now, let us see a few very important values which as teachers we need to inculcate in our children today. See, the first important value is health value. I think at this point of time you will definitely agree with me that health value is the most important value that we need to inculcate in the children. See, you find at home parents may not give a lot of importance to health of the children. So, we have to teach the children right from the younger days that health is very, very important, and it depends upon the cleanliness in the house, good nutritious food and exercise. All these, the importance of all these three things should be definitely incorporated, inculcated in the minds of the children. See, many children in our country die of malnutrition. Many children in our country are malnourished. So, what is the importance of a balanced diet and how we can consume all the required nutrients every day in our lives, and how nutritious foods are available at a cheap rate. You need not have lot of money to consume a balanced diet or take a nutritious diet. You find even cheaply available fruits, vegetables, they are extremely nutritious, and only thing is we need to tell the children, make the children aware of these fruits and vegetables which they need to consume. And also exercise also, you find children live in small homes, apartments, and thanks to the smartphones and the tabs, all the time children are sitting in one place. So, the importance of exercise also needs to be stressed to a great extent. Then the second important value is social value. See, again, because of nuclear families and because of limited number of children in the family, the children are not learning to share, cooperate, have tolerance. All the social values which were so much present in the children before are not to be seen these days. So, again in the school we should give lot of importance to social values. What are these social values? Teaching the children good manners and behavior, love, compassion, tolerance, justice, punctuality and etiquette or good behavior. All these social values again have to be taught to the children in the school. Then the next important value is dignity of labor. See, you find with the standard of living of people on the rise, you find people have become very snobbish and they look down upon people who are doing tasks like sweeping or the class 4 employees of the school. They don't respect those people. So we have to teach our children dignity of labor, to have respect for all kinds of work, and for this we can organize social service camps, take the children to the community, expose them to what is happening in the slum areas, make them do some cleanliness work there, or let them observe what is going on, what kind of life the people there are living. Or even if that is not possible, in the school itself, one day we can ask the children to do the work of a sweeper, or have a garden in the school. Any activity which we can, which is appropriate to develop dignity of labor in the children, we definitely have to plan. Then one more very important value which we need to inculcate in our children is national integration and patriotism. See, if you have a look at what is happening in our country, you find that each state is dividing itself and wants to be given priority to. Children of different regions, different states, they eat differently, they have their own culture, and through school, through education, we have to teach them that we are all one, united we stand. So how do we inculcate this national integration in the children? See, if you just tell them that, see, India is one country and we all should love India, that feeling of national integration cannot be developed. See, national integration is a feeling which has to grow in the minds of the children, and you can plan for different activities through which this sentiment of national integration can be developed in the children. What are those activities? See, first of all, you must have respect for people of all states and then develop the same in the children. If you make fun of people living in other states, obviously children also will do the same. So have respect for people of all states and respect for all languages of India, celebrate national festivals, and you can plan for a lot of literary activities like quiz, essay, through which on topics related to national integration, so that you can develop this sentiment in the children. Then you can teach the children national songs, national anthem, and have them sing these songs in the school assembly. Then you can organize exhibitions, educational trips to important places in the country. And also cultural activities can be planned to inculcate national integration and patriotism. Then the next important value which we need to develop in our children is religious tolerance and spiritual value. See, you might ask me that we are living in a secular country, so why should we develop religious tolerance and spiritual values? Why should we stress on spiritual values? See, I think you all know that no religion is bad. Every religion, if taught in a proper way, helps in instilling good values in the children. So spiritual values are very important, and they teach children self-restraint, self-discipline, contentment, reduction of wants, freedom from greed, austerity and religious tolerance. See, you find there is a lot of communal disharmony existing among people today in our country. So all these things all these problems can be solved if we develop good spiritual values in our children right from childhood. Respect for all religions, should be developed in the children. Then scientific temper also. See, from the early childhood, we must encourage our children to ask lot of questions in the classroom. See, this scientific attitude is very, very important. You find very often children believe in false things. If somebody tells them something, then they tend to accept that and believe it. So, to avoid that, we have to develop rational thinking, logical thinking in the children. See, once the children are logical in nature, once they have rational thinking, then they will not believe blindly what other people say. All the superstitions and all which exist in our society, all that will go for a toss, and there will be a lot of research which will emerge in our country if we develop this scientific temper in the minds of the children. So, this can be developed through science exhibitions, encouraging the children to do experiments, have a good lab in the school, and also through literary activities we can develop scientific temper. Then environmental values, again a very, very important value which we need to develop in our children. You find that this is the need of the hour, and we have to make our children realize the importance of environment, how to conserve the resources and how not to exploit the environment. How do we do that? See, through tree plantation and discourage the use of plastic, introduce the children to everything local, encourage them to use locally available foodstuffs or any other material rather than buying things made in other countries or other states. Encourage them to use everything which is local, and encourage children to start a vegetable garden at home. And recycling of water, all the recycling process needs to be told and taught to the children, and they should be encouraged to recycle things at home. And then you must also tell them about solar energy, importance of solar power, and how it is important and it should be used by the children, by adults around in the city. So, basically environment preservation, conservation has to be taught to the children. So, now to conclude, let us see what we have learned today. See, we have seen the meaning of the term value, what educational values are, and then the nature of values, the scope of values, the types of values, hierarchy of values, and values and education. What are the values which we need to give importance to through education, and the list of very important values which we should inculcate in the children as a teacher, and how we can inculcate those. So, dear learner, value is something which is extremely important, and our entire future and how we are going to teach, what we are going to teach, and how the future of our children, our nation is going to be, all that depends upon the values which we will inculcate in our children. And I am sure you will agree with me if I say that we are living in the state of value crisis. Most of the people, if you see around, you find there is crisis of values in them. See, India was once known as the custodian of soul, because people in India had very, very high values. But see what is the state of affairs today. So, you find you teachers have tremendous responsibility on your shoulders, and you must try your best to inculcate good values in the children. Wish you all the best. Thank you.